Oh, GWD community, it's been too long. I forgot how you looked. You forgot how I looked. Unless you come to streams, I have been live for the last week. So yeah, they haven't forgot how I looked. Today, I'm giving you guys, as promised, our Madden League power rankings through the first week of the season. So we've had some winners, we've had some losers, we've had some surprises, we've had some disappointments, and we're gonna run through all of those teams today. So we got 32 teams, and yeah, we're gonna run through best to worst. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I got wrong. Let me know your rankings if you're familiar with the people in the league. If you want to get in the league, it is full, but there is a wait list, so you can let me know if you want to join it. But other than that, I think we should go ahead and get started. Coming in at number 32, we got Yachty and the Panthers. It's been a rough going for him. He joined here week 2, lost. I'm sorry. He joined here in week 3, lost 23 to 99. Then he lost 22 to 61. So he's giving up a bunch of points. He's not scoring a bunch of points, and that's kind of a recipe for disaster. So we're gonna run Yachty at 32, but I played him, and I think he has the potential to get up into the mid-20s. Coming at number 31, we got the Bears and my homie Slick. Slick, I have this written down, has scored 49 points, which is good for the worst in the league. He hasn't given up the most amount of points, but as you can see, he lost. He's just coming off a loss. 86 to 10. This was a sim game, and before that he lost 38 to 10. So he's struggling to score. He's struggling to play defense. Defense is not as bad as Yachty, which is why I'm not going to rate him lower than Yachty. So if he figures out his offense, he might be able to, stick around. But I think 31 is good for where we're at. But once again, I think Slick's another one of those guys that could definitely find themselves in the low to mid 20s, depending on kind of how he can figure out his offense. Coming in at number 30, we got Epitone and the Raiders. I mean, I haven't got to see him play yet. That's a lie. I did see him play against the Chargers. It was a blowout, which is really what's warranting his low ranking, third worst in the league. He's struggling to score. He has one of the worst offenses in the league. Aiden O'Connell's his quarterback, so you kind of give him some wiggle room. But 0-4 is pretty insane. So he's going to have to figure some things out, and it's not going to be easy. Packers, Patriots, I do have them ranked above him, so he's going to have to play above where I think he's at to win those. So we'll see. I certainly think he needs to go get a quarterback. He's been active on the market, so if you want to trade with him, trade with him. Raiders need some help. But yeah, 30th is where he's going to come in. Coming in at 29, we got the Titans user who has actually been playing his games. I haven't got to see them yet, but he had a pretty tough loss against Giraffe at 21 to 35, and he lost again to the Bengals users 28 to 46. So he is scoring, so that's why I have him above the other guys. But he's losing, and so he's 0-4. It's not a great start, but he can pick it up. So these 2 games he has been here for. We had another Titans user, but he's going to have a tough one. He's going to have a very tough one against the Colts and a very tough one against the Ravens. So he could very well have an 0-6 start to the year. We'll hope for the best, but 29 seems fitting for Titans. Coming in at number 28, we got new users, Giants. So these numbers are a bit skewed. Red Eagles is coming in. This used to be Mets Rocks. So as you can see, Mets Rocks was struggling a bit. But Red Eagles is going to come in and try to turn this around. So 28 seems relatively fair for, previous regimes in terms of who was playing here. But Red Eagles could easily come in and try to turn this around. He's going to have to do so against the Bills, who are good, the Commanders, who are good, and Subway. So that's not going to be easy, but it certainly could be possible. So I believe I said, 28 for the Giants, but you could see them, if he is what I think he is, you could see the Giants maybe mid-tier 15, 16, 17, and maybe pushing for a playoff spot. Falcons coming in at number 27. We do have the Falcons. This is probably one of the bigger disappointments so far. It's Liner. Liner, he had a terrible 45-2 loss on stream. He followed that up by playing the Lions user, lost 14 to 35. This was a sim game, so he's 1-3. He's really 0-3 with the luck of a sim game. And Liner coming in was probably a guy I thought would be top 10. So 1-3 to start. Hopefully he can turn it around. It's going to be tough against T flips, not impossible. But 27th is really low for Liner. That's bottom tier in the league. So one of the bigger shockers. We'll see where he shapes out, but I don't know if he can turn this around because these are pretty bad losses. Coming in at number 26, we got BK Bulls and the Patriots. He's on a bit of a losing streak. He had a good win against Tidy. He forced Tidy to lose. So I was like, okay, you know what, BK Bulls maybe top 15, maybe top 15. And then he just turned that up with a bad loss against Subway, a bad loss against Trent, and then a quit against Franny. So, you know, he had something cooking in that Dolphins game, and he's completely lost in the last 3 weeks. So he's gonna have to figure it out. He can definitely do so against the Raiders. Bills are gonna be tough. He plays the Dolphins again, so maybe he can, you know, find that luck again against the Dolphins. But 26 seems fair for BK Bulls. Hopefully he can start trending upward as well. Coming in at 25, we got Commanders. So we got a new user in Couch. Couch did take a L against D-Burt. Not only did he take an L, but he quit. So that's hurting him a bit. I'm basing this rating a lot off of what I think Couch can do, because he was really competitive in our last Madden League. He had the Chiefs, though. Now he has the Washington Commanders. He is on the hunt for a quarterback. Sam Howell is not him. So I do have him better than some of the guys listed below him, simply off the fact that he's Couch, and that I believe that he can do okay in this league. So 25 might be a little high. He's gonna have to show us something. He has this week against Slick, Falcons, Giants, so he has some easier opponents to kind of work with. So we'll see if he can put some things together and win these games and kind of push up from 25. Coming in at 24, we have a new user, Buccaneers. Before this, we had another Buccaneers user. He just recently left. He had some tough losses against Franny, D-Burt, and the Vikings. He wasn't bad, though. He would have been somewhere around this ranking. So I give him 24. Mr. Frosty takes over in a bye week. So coming out of this bye week, he's going to have to go and face Lions user who's tough. And he's going to have to figure out something against Liner here. So Mr. Frosty, best of luck to you. You're coming in at 24, so you got some room to grow. And no real expectations, because that's still a bottom team in this league. So Buccaneers 24, pretty good. Coming in at number 23, we got Packers. So, I mean, after the first 2 weeks, I would have said, you know what, Packers probably a top 10 team, especially after that 45-2 loss against Liner, who we thought was good. Then he turned that up with a bad loss against Franny, and then another bad loss against the Lions user. So he is on the downward trend. I mean, 23 is relatively low. You know, he did have a good win, but you know, right now we're getting into that realm of teams that are good, but kind of middle of the pack. And so Jaden, I'm iffy on Jaden. I don't know where he's at right now. He could easily flip it and turn around, but a 63-26 losses is ugly. So we'll see what his season looks like going forward. But 23 right now with the Packers, you live with that. But I think he's a guy that can turn it around and maybe get to the 15s, top 15s, somewhere around there. All right, coming in at number 22, we got the Chargers and Tendies. Tendies is also 2-2. He had a bad loss against the Vikings, but he turned that around with a good W against the Raiders. Raiders a bit Mickey Mouse opponent, but he still put up 65 points on them. So that makes up for the 59-point loss against me. You know, I think I'm relatively solid. So I would say Tendies is around middle of the pack. I want to see what he could do against, you know, some better competition, and he's going to play that soon with Trent. And but after that, he has a relatively easy schedule until Subway. So we'll see where Tendies is shaking up next time we do one of these. But he could push forward. He could push forward. But I could also see a world where he struggles and kind of falls down a little bit. But yeah, 24. Coming in at number 21, we got Cardinals user DCI. DCI, as you can see, he played the CPU 7 times. So he's been struggling against the CPU. He also played the CPU Cowboys. He figured it out. We did get to see him today on stream. Today is Friday. He played the 49ers. He got a forced win. The 49ers user lagged out, but he was playing them well. For a Cardinals user, it was a tie game against a good 49ers team. Weeda is a good opponent. So he was holding his own. So I'm basing this rating solely off the fact that he was holding his own against a good opponent with the Cardinals. So coming in at 21, we're going to have to see him play obviously more, and he's going to have to play because his Bengal user is solid. Rams, solid. But DCI is kind of that middle of the pack. You don't know if he'll go up or down, but I think from what I've seen, he has the talent to be competitive. It's a tough Cardinals team to work with. So we'll see what he can do with that. Coming in at number 20, we got Weeda and the 49ers, like we were just talking about with the Cardinals. We didn't get to see Weeda much. He just joined. His first game was against the Cardinals. He lagged out. He was playing them well, though, but he wasn't playing them like substantially well to the point where, hey, we need to rank him high. He ended up lagging out. We had to give him a forced loss. So he's coming in at 3-1, but it's really 0-1 in this league so far. So 20 is about where he should be. We will, you know, his rating will be a lot more accurate in the coming weeks when he plays real teams and kind of adjusts where he should be. Ultimately, I didn't think I felt like he should have blown out the Cardinals, which is why, you know, that kind of hurt his rating a little bit. It being a close game against the Cardinals, and you have probably the best talent team-wise in Madden. Not a great look. And he's going to have some tough games against the Cowboys, Vikings, and Browns. So these next 3 weeks are going to be big weeks for the 49ers. But 20, you know, not bad. Breaking the top 20, we got the Bengals coming in at 19. He started the season off horribly. He gave up 800-something yards or 700 yards to the Brown user and Giraffe. He followed up with a good win against BH, who's a good opponent. A tough loss to the Rams CPU. And then he did play the Titans user and got a good win there. So a 2-2 record, but the win against BH, that's pretty heavily weighted. And I'm not going to weigh that first game against the Browns too hard because he said that was his first Madden game. So from what I'm seeing, he's playing better. He's getting better. He's scoring more points. The defense is getting better and he's trending upwards. So coming in at 19 seems fitting, but he's definitely a guy that could trend towards, you know, that top 10 number if he can continue where he's at. He'll play DCI, which will be a good game. Then he'll follow that with a tough game against the Seahawks. So Bengals user, someone to watch out for. 19. Coming in at 18, we got the Rams and Andrew. This is a tough rating. I don't really know where to put him. He did get a win against the Bengals user. Actually, I believe this was a CPU game. He's coming off a tough loss against the Colts. So based off just record alone, I have him here at 18. He's kind of interchangeable. I don't want to drop him down too low because he had this Ram team has wins. Andrew himself is set, you know, not pretty. 7-55 against a tough Colts team. So Andrew pushing forward, we'll have to just play him by ear and see if he is a bottom tier player or if he is accurately rated right here, or is he even better than we thought. So I thought 18 was fair. Maybe, you know, maybe this number is interchangeable other places, but I didn't want to go too low so early just because he's so new, and he definitely couldn't be much higher than this. So Rams 18, I like it there. Coming in at number 17, we got the Browns user, which I think this one's a tougher rating because 17 feels low, right? He had a big, strong win against the Bengals user. He followed that up with it was a bad loss until it wasn't. It was a blowout. He made it a close game at the end against J Daddy, who's a great team. He got the dub against the Titans user, and then he got a close loss against another good team in the Ravens. So 17 might be low, but he's still only 2-2. He's got to turn these close games into W's against these top players. And then I can use that for justification to rank him higher. A lot of these are like garbage time scores. They could be worse. And he's still giving up a lot of points. He's giving up 29, 52, and 34. It's a lot of points. He is scoring a lot. So he's definitely a user to watch moving forward. Is he a top player in this league? I don't know. Right now I have him about middle of the pack at 17. So we'll see. Keep an eye on the Browns users to push forward. Giraffe, shout out to you. Coming in at number 16, we got Wozniak. This is a tougher rating because he is 3-1, but these are mostly CPU games and force wins. So, you know, this rating is simply based off of the record. I don't know where Wozniak will place. I think he'll gradually trend down lower and lower as he plays more and more real people. But 3-1, good Chiefs team. Got to give him flowers where flowers are due. Credit where credit is due. Coming at 16, not a bad ranking, about middle of the pack, and we'll see if he can keep that up. Coming in at number 15, this is a tough one, man. Our boy T Flips in the Houston Texans. Almost dead smack in the middle of the league. He is 1-3 though, right? So it's tough to give somebody 15th ranked when they're 1-3. But let's just look at the games he's playing. He had a tough loss against BH, right? He followed that up with a massive win against Hop Heater, who turned out to be a good opponent. He put up almost 70 points on Hop. Then he followed it up with a horrific loss against the Jags, where he blew it in the last second. or last drive, almost made a historic comeback, and then a bad loss against J Daddy, who's another competent opponent. So what I've seen here is I've seen a player who is good enough to compete with some of the best. He's just not finishing games. And for that feels like he should be ranked at 15. If I went off strictly what the record was, he would be lower. But he's competing with good teams. And if he starts to play these, these teams that aren't as good, you can see that record change. But it doesn't get much easier. He's going to have to play Franny. He's going to have to play Liner if Liner figures his stuff out. But then his schedule might ease a little bit with, Yachty and Bengals, and it's still not an easy schedule. Probably one of the tougher schedules in the league. So we'll see where the Texans shape out. 15 seems fair, but if he can't turn these close games into wins, he will easily be a bottom like 25 player in the league. So, or between 25 and 32, because the schedule doesn't get much easier, and his record just won't reflect the holding him middle of the tier. So. That's my opinion on the Texans. Coming in at number 14, we got the Jets and Subway. He should probably be 3-1 right now. He's ranked at 2-2. He got a forced win at home. He lost to the CPU, but then he turned it around. Got a big win against BK Bulls. He was beating Wozniak and the Chiefs until he had to leave, and so he had to take a forced loss for that. Ultimately, I think Subway's just a good player. 3-1. I want to rank him higher, but he is only 2-2, so he should be a guy that could probably range around the top 10. We'll see the next time we do one of these where his record's standing at. But yeah, good team, good player, good Jets user. I think 14 is fitting, but for where he is now, I think he'll trend up to top 10 for sure. Okay, coming in at number 13, we got new user Trent and the Cowboys. This game is based solely off of his game with BK Bulls, plus the fact that he's the Cowboys. Trent has played in this league before. First game in, he smacked BK Bulls 66-23. 13, yeah, and he's 3-1. You gotta give him 13th in the league. I mean, he's not top 10 yet, but he very much so could push towards that. He'll have a tough game against the 49ers, then he'll turn that around and play against Tendies. So we'll see him play some competent teams. And if he can continue this pace, he'll easily be top 10, top 5 if he stays along that. So we'll see where Trent shapes out. But top at number 13 seems fair. Coming in at number 12, we got Broncos and Dead Bones. He's played the CPU a little bit, got a dub there. He had a tough loss against Tidy, gave up 50 points. He scored 41, but then he turned that around. And he beat, second worst user in the Bears, but he did put up 86. So he beat him the way he should have beat him. That's a lot of points. So for that reason, we got him marked at 12th. He's in a tough division, probably one of the tougher divisions in the league. So he's going to have to navigate that and try to continue this path. But if he does continue doing what he's doing, he will be a top 10 player in this league. So shout out to Dead Bones. Some good wins. Tough loss against Tidy, but other than that, you live with it. Coming in at number 11, the person we just talked about, Tidy Screens. So as you can see, he's 3-2. He had a good win against against the Giants user. He made the Giants user quit actually. So get some flowers for that. He had a terrible loss against the Bills, which is what's really dragging his rank down. If this game was a little bit closer, or even he won, he'd easily be top 10 for the fact that he's a solid player. He has the Dolphins, and he would have a 4-1 record at this point. He doesn't, but he did get a good win against against Dead Bones, but the loss against BK Bulls, nasty loss. He ended up quitting. So 11th, he's getting some good wins. He's had some bad losses, but I think those are kind of attributed to the fact that he was new to the game. So as he pushes forward, I'm banking in the fact that he's playing these games relatively competitive, and he has a good team and he's a good player. So 11, kind of high, maybe not. You can tell me what you think where Tidy should be, but 11, we'll live with it right there. Coming in at number 10, we have Jaguars user Young Griff Stiff. I mean, if you just look at these games, right? 36-38, whatever. He didn't play this game. He won 50-44. He didn't play this game. He won 52-49. So these are close games, and then some unfortunate sims or couldn't make the game. And so he's 2-3. He could very easily be a top 5 player if this Colts game, something goes his way. He wins that. and then he just doesn't get some forced losses. He's a good player. So top 10 is good. The record is just ugly. 2-3 is an ugly record for a top 10 player. So he'll figure some things out. It doesn't get much easier. He has to play the Colts user again. We want to watch that. And then he has to turn around and play Franny, who's undefeated, and then turn around and play J Daddy, who's also a good player. So watch for the Jaguars. He could slip a little bit, or he could really make a name for himself as a contender. So next 3 weeks, next 3 games for Younger Stiff, those are going to be some good ones, but he's coming in at number 10 here. Coming in at number 9, we got J Daddy and the Steelers. He was probably closer to top 5 until a horrific loss against the Ravens recently, 14-50. That's ugly, but he beat the Texans user 49-28. He got a good sim. He beat the Browns user 52-43. So he's scoring a lot of points. He's giving up a lot of points. Probably giving up too much points than he should be with the Steelers, and he's scoring more points than he should be as the Steelers. So he'll have to figure some things out defensively. But I think J Daddy will probably close this season out as a top 5 player if he continues to play his games and beat the opponents he's supposed to beat. He is in a tough schedule. He has to play the Browns and the Ravens twice, or one more time after this. So we'll see. We'll see if he can just continue doing what he's doing. It's going to be an interesting one for the Steelers. But 9 is where he stands today on this wonderful Friday for GWD Primetime Power Ranking 1. Yes, ma'am. Coming in at number 8, we got Lions user. I have yet to see him play, but he is absolutely smacking teams, and he's playing his games. If you look at the last 2 games that he's actually been in the league for, 35-14 against Liner, 63-26 against a good Packers user, or a solid Packers user in Jaden. He's putting up points. We haven't seen him play yet, but 3-1, it warrants a top 8 spot in this league. I mean, you could probably even say higher, but the fact that we haven't seen exactly what he's doing probably drags him back a little bit. But we'll see him soon. Maybe this game against BH will be a good one, because he probably should beat the Panthers user, and we'll see against this Buccaneers user, Mr. Frosty. So maybe that'll be the game we watch to see how both of them play with their new teams. But number 8 for the Lions. Coming in at number 7, we got D-Bird, who's also 3-1. He had a good W against the Buccaneers user, actually made him quit the league as well. He made the Commanders quit the game. So shout out to D-Bird for that. He had a tough loss. It was a close loss against me. So that was kind of dragging him back a little bit. That's the reason we have him at 7. But so far 2-1 in the games he's actually played. This was probably a fair sim or a CPU game, but his schedule gets a little easier. He plays the Rams user. He'll have to play Subway Guy. He'll have to play Tidy. So we'll see where D-Bird stands. Will he hold at 7? I don't think so. He's currently shocking the world right now. D-Bird is a top 10 player. I don't think anyone had that on their card coming into the season. So Eagles, number 7. Coming in at number 6 is the Rio de Janeiro Seahawks and George. New user. He came in at this week 3. Instantly won 99-23 and then 77-15. No, granted, those are 2 not great opponents, but the fact that he's putting up 60, 70 points plus, you gotta rank him kind of high, right? So hopefully we'll get to see him play soon. We'll see him play some competent opponents coming up, especially this Bengals user, DCI, Giraffe, and then BH again. A lot of these teams are playing BH, so that'll kind of be the benchmark of where he actually stands. So is he really a top 6 player? Is he better? I think we'll find out soon. Coming in at number 5, you got me, GWD Vikings user. I've had some close wins, but the fact that I'm undefeated, I think that solely is the reason I would mark myself so high. I played a good Eagles user in D-Bird. I played a good user in the Buccaneers. Chargers user, I felt that he was solid, and that was a blowout. And Panther user, I beat him how I should have beat him. So, 5 feels great. I think we'll see me play some real competition coming relatively soon. Maybe with that game against Weeda, Jaden, Liner, and then, we'll have a good one against Franny, who's also undefeated. So those games will kind of determine really where the Vikings are, where I'm at, and if I'm really a top 5 player or if I'm a fraud. So let's move into the top 4. Coming in at number 4, this is a tough one, but we got the Colts and Hot Peter. I mean, you can make an argument with really any of these guys being close to number 1 or being pushed up. This was a tough one for me. Hop, and the only reason Hop is so low is because he had a terrible loss against T-Flips, who's the 15th player, right? Giving up 70 points is nasty work. But he beat a good Jaguars user. He beat BH, who I think is a good player, and then he dominated the Rams. And he's doing so with Anthony Richardson, a good Colts team. Top player, he's a tough opponent. I don't think anyone really wants to play Hop if you have to. I would mark him down as a contender in this league, and I think he'll kind of continue to be in this top 5 range. He'll just have to continue to perform against, you know, the likes of younger Stiff, and he'll have another opportunity to play T-Flips, and so we'll see if he's adjusted at all, or is he still going to give up 70 points? I don't know, but 4 feels good for Hopita, and let's move to number 3. I fear I might have gotten my numbers mixed up at some point in this, but at so I said Hop was 4, but I think Hop was actually 3. And so now we're at number 2. And at number 2, we got Saints and the Franny and the Saints, excuse me. He's just dominating. He's just dominating his opponents. He's making people quit. The only thing holding him back is he just hasn't had a strength of schedule. These are all teams he probably should have beat. We didn't know much about the Packers. He did well against them. He did well against a Bucks user, and he blew out BK Bulls. So he's dominating teams, but they aren't great teams, right? And so we're going to have to see him play against good teams. He's going to play one soon in T-Flips. He's going to play one in Younger Stiff, and he's going to have this is going to be a great one against Hop Heater. So number 2, I like where Franny's at. We rock with those. So shout out to Franny. We'll see if he can continue. If he continues to win, he will be number 1. Simple as that. And what that means is at number 1, we got BH. And so this is a tough one, right? This is a tough justification because BH is not undefeated. BH is 3-2. But let's look at his losses. He had an interesting loss against the Bengals, who I have ranked relatively low, but he lost by 1 score. He has a close loss against the Colts. I watched that game. That game should have went to overtime. He sold, and he lost that game as well. Would he have won in overtime? Who knows? But he beat a good Texans user in T-Flips. He beat a good Browns user, and then he dominated J Daddy, who's a top 10 player. So he's beating these really good teams, and he's not losing in poor fashion. In the games I've seen, he was just the better player. So for me, from what I've seen, I think he warrants number 1, but you can make an argument for, any of these top 4 teams really to kind of take this number 1 spot. So that's it. Those are the power rankings. I think that is relatively fair, but I want to know what you guys think. What did I get wrong? What did I get right? Who would you move where? I think I might have messed up the numbers at some point in this, but hey, we live and we learn. If I think I might have missed 1 team. So prayers to that one guy. Other than that, we'll have another one of these on next Friday. We'll see where the teams are at. We'll be a little bit closer to playoff time. We'll have a bit more understanding of where you guys are seeding in at, and then who's the real contenders, who the frauds, who the phonies, and who are the pretenders. But other than that, I swear to God, I just said other than that 7 times. Have a blessed night. Pow.